Is China digging a tunnel to Brazil? I'm not sure, but I think I'm sure. This is mind-boggling, mind-blowing. Let's get into it. What is the actual reason for the Spratly Islands? Nobody seems to really know. I mean, we say that it's military bases or, you know, whatever the case may be, and then we have the U.S. out there kind of doing things, and then China gets mad at us, whatever. What if it's so much more? There has been a few articles that came out just within the last 24 hours that is seemingly confirming what I have already been looking into, and I spoke a little bit about it about a year ago. We have Chinese-funded port expansion in Brazil to benefit both countries. China and Brazil. Y'all know where those are, right? So, we've got China over here. We've got Brazil over here. Okay? But I'm going to show you something very strange that most people don't know about. And I think you're going to be really shocked. Really shocked. Okay? And it may have something to do with this grand solar minimum. And whenever you look back in history, you see that ancient civilizations did do some type of underground, they made underground cities and these tunnels, and I mean these cities are big enough for people to live in. Why did they do that? Well, it looks like because there was an impending cataclysmic activity, and so they prepared and they lived underground for however long, we don't know, but the tunnels are still there, the dwellings are still there in multiple countries across the continents. Another article we have, China and Brazil agree to advance bilateral ties to strengthen cooperation. Okay. China-Brazil relations stable and mature, experts say. Should China build the longest tunnel in the world? China communications to build $1.4 billion Brazilian sea bridge. Okay. And there's a lot more. So we're going to get into this, and I'm going to show you something quite shocking. What the Spratly Islands is probably truly for. So let's go ahead and get into that. Grand solar minimum information, but I'm going to do that in a totally different video. Let's start over here with this Brazil, with the Brazil and China information. So, how Chinese interest and money have revived Brazil's ambitious Amazon rail network. I'm going to leave all of these links in the pinned comment so you can go through these, because I'm not going to sit here and read all of this stuff. I'm just showing you that kind of like the connections, and then I'm going to show you the bombshell thing that's going to be like, what? So, Brazil's strategic expansion in the Indo-Pacific. This just came out today. Despite its Atlantic seaboard, Brazil's future ambitious sites in the Indo-Pacific. That is weird. Let's take a look at that. In the Indo-Pacific. So, we've got the Indo-Pacific, and then we have Brazil. Why? What's going on there? This is what? Like, what's going on? I've said it before, and I know people are still in a little bit of denial, but it seems that Brazil will be the new superpower of the Americas. And that does go back to the grand solar minimum. But again, I'm going to do that in a different video. Okay. So as part of its grander geostrategic ambitions, Brazil aims to expand its strategic reach in the Indo-Pacific region, moving from regional power in South America to global player, and will entail Brazil extending its influence across the Pacific to the west coast of Africa. That's interesting. And eventually around the wider Indo-Pacific region. This is a very good article here. In the meantime, Brazil has engaged in important interactions with major Asian powers in an effort to complete its strategic orientation and its goals. Brazil has flirted with China, that's a weird word to use, on a long-imaged railway project that envisions railways connecting Brazil's Atlantic coast across the Andes, the world's longest continental mountain range, to the ports of the Pacific. This would allow ships from China and other countries to dock in Peru and load cargo that had been sent from Brazil by rail. Well, that'd be interesting. And then we have, the Chinese-funded port expansion. China's hunger for commodities. This just came out yesterday. Like grains, iron ore from Brazil seems endless, and shipping them halfway around the globe is a task that demands sophisticated infrastructure and enormous investment. And that's what's going on. An investment of almost $500 million from a consortium led by Chinese construction company. I'm not going to read all of this. The Chinese have what we need. They have the resources, technology, and interested in expanding the businesses. Very, very interesting. China-Brazil agreed to advance bilateral ties and strengthen cooperation. This was last month. Nobody seems to want to talk about this. Brazil's our allies, right? Like, what are they doing with China? What are they doing? Well, let me just say that sometimes there are connections that need to be made when there is bigger things going on. Sometimes you have to put your differences aside and actually look out for your country, your people. Okay, China-Brazil relations stable, mature, says experts. Okay, China Communications to bid for $1.4 billion Brazilian sea bridge. This was back in February. It's probably when I talked about it. I'm not sure. I did delete some of my videos, but everything's still on my BitChute, which is linked in my pinned comments. Because of the censorship and stuff, I wanted to keep my channel not be censored, so I took some videos down. I'm not sure which ones are still up. I mean, if that one's still up. Okay, so it's just, information about this sea bridge. It's very interesting why all of this stuff going. I'm about to show you something pretty shocking. So the Silk Road State Grid puts 1,000 something kilovolts. Is that kilovolts? Of a gas insulated transmission line utility tunnel project, a signature project of the State Grid Corporation of China, has recently gone into service in East China, further consolidating the company's leading position in the world's ultra-high voltage power transmission field. What? This is crazy. So it's 5.8 kilometers long, totaling 35 kilometers. The project provides brand new method of choice. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of that. Leading tunnel technology, a first for Brazil. Why all the tunnels? Why all the tunnels, guys? Why? Y'all know I have to be like sarcastic and stuff to bypass, the algorithms. Okay. I guess this is frozen. We'll try to come back to that. Should China build the world's longest undersea tunnel? This was back in July. See, this is how they put out information. They put it out like, oh, could they do this? And then like 3 years later you see, oh, big tunnel. You know, like they've done that with the underground skyscrapers. They have one in Mexico. It's like 67 stories. And, you know, back like 10 years ago, they talked about it like it was a joke. All the while they were already planning and building it. But, so this one would not go all the way to Brazil from what they're saying with this, obviously. But, like I said, this is how they put information out. And I'm sure most of the people that watch my videos know this. You know, they put out little bits of breadcrumbs and then you have to put all this stuff together. And that's what takes so long to research and put out actual good information. Not just reading a headline and saying, whoa, this is, you have to put like so many things together. Okay? So this would be just absolutely massive. Since Xi Jinping got behind the idea of ecological civilization in 2012, conservation has become a much higher priority in China. That sped up the building of the national park system, intended to increase the amount of protected land in China and consolidate the fragmented and overlapping existing system. In 2015, the State Council approved trails and national parks in 9 provinces. In 2017, it published overall plans for establishing the system. Huge land-based national parks were planned to protect animal habitats and ecosystems. Okay, I'm sure most of y'all know that a lot of times when they mark these places as natural habitats and national land and things like that, a lot of times they're doing it for other reasons. We can see that here in the U.S. I don't need to go into all that, but this is a good article too. So you have to like find these things, and sometimes you even have to translate them. Let me show y'all how to do that really fast, because that is a big deal. Like there is, if you find, sometimes you have to, let me see, China, let me see, Antarctica or something, Antarctica expedition, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to translate this word into Chinese. So go to copy, go to Google Translate. I haven't showed y'all the thing that I'm talking about yet. I'm sorry. But it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. Google Translate. Because this is a big deal too. This is how a lot of people, you know, you can get extra information. Because when you Google something, it's usually going to come up in English. Okay? So we can even translate it. Let's go ahead and translate English into Spanish. That's not what I wanted to do. I have my Google Translate. You can have a little add-on up here. But, and you can pick whatever one. So, let's go from English to, actually, let's do Portuguese, because that's what they speak in Brazil. Although, I'm just looking into Antarctica with this. Okay. China Antarctic Expedition. I already have it added to Chrome. Okay. I guess I'd... Okay, anyway, you can just translate that. And then the big deal is, whenever you find a website that is in a different language, you go to this. It's called iTools. Google Translate web, so you can translate the entire web page from, and it'll detect the language. So you don't even need to know the language. It might be Russian or something, you have no idea. It doesn't matter. So I have some already because I use it a lot. So let's go ahead and go to this one. It's going to find whatever language it is, and it's going to translate it to English for me. And so that's how I get other information that most people wouldn't look into. Migrants with influenza. See, this one was in Spanish. So whenever you find, this is a really good way to find other information. Anyway, let's go to the really, really strange, amazing thing we've got going on here. What the Spratlys are really about. Where's my thing? I have so many tabs open. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we have the Spratlys over here. And you can go to this really cool little tool. It's called freemaptools.com, tunnel to the other side of the world. So you can put any location in, and it's going to show you if you made a tunnel where you would end up on the other side of the world. Isn't that cool? Okay. So we're going to go to the Spratlys. Oops. Oh crap. The Spratlys are all around here. But the one I'm looking for is the one on the fiery reef. I mean, but you see, this is where we would end up. Well, where is this? So this is the Spratlys right here, okay? All of these are the Spratly Islands. And this right here, where could this be? Well, here's the latitude and longitude. And I've already put it in. So we've got the Spratlys. And you can do this yourself. So there's no trickery. I'm just trying to make it shorter for y'all. So these are the Spratlys. This is the one I was looking at. The Fiery Cross Reef. Weird, huh? How it goes from, no, it's just an ocean. It's just an ocean, y'all. To an entire island with underground storage, and they have all kind of things. And all of these islands are like that. There's all kind of weird stuff going on. Okay? And then this one, it straight up looks like you are going down a tunnel. You see this? How the ripples are? Well, that's interesting. So where is this? Let's go, let's go. Oh my gracious. We're in Brazil? What? What kind of coincidence is that? Not only that, do you see the name of this town? So each of the Spratlys would end up in all these areas. So just depending on which island you use. But this town is called El Pole Norte. You know what that means? It means it means the North Pole. Why is there a town in Brazil called the North Pole that just happens to be the same on the opposite side if you made a tunnel from the Spratlys? I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's very interesting. Something's going on. But when I first saw that, it blew my mind. Because, see, that one that I was looking at, that one ends up over here. You can see it. See, we can actually put in the actual... You can just highlight this, and then you can put that into Google Earth right here. But I have my settings on minutes, whatever, I forget what you call it. It's different settings, so it's not gonna, oh, it might go. So it's gonna go up here, just because I was looking at the entire area. But this is interesting too. So each one of those Spratly Islands, you know, you would end up in a different place. So what you can do is highlight this one or this one, and then you can go over there and find out where you would be. And so the one that gets me to the Polo Norte is that, I believe, that Fiery Cross one. So interesting. Let me see this right here. This is right outside that Polo Norte. That's mind-blowing, y'all. If you don't think so, I honestly don't know what to tell you. This is mind-blowing. I mean, we've got weirdo, like, random man-made islands that are super secretive that happen to end up at a place called Polo Norte in Brazil. And then we have China and Brazil with all these deals talking about sea land bridges and tunnels and all of this stuff. And you can see there is stuff going on right here. I mean, this is absolutely mind-blowing. But, okay, I won't make it too long. We'll talk about some more later. But I'll put all these links in the pinned comments so y'all can check it out yourself. Alright, thanks guys. Y'all have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe. And always remember that none of this is to scare you or, you know, make anybody freak out or whatever. It's to be prepared. The mainstream media and certain governments and certain agencies, they do put out information. Unfortunately, it's not the headlines. And you have to actually dig for these things. You have to talk to people that are in certain areas or whatever. And that's what I try to do for y'all. Because, like I've said in other videos, if you're prepared, there's no reason to be fearful of any incoming thing. I mean, there's no reason to live your life in fear. That's silly. But just be prepared. Just know that if North America becomes inhabitable, I'll talk about that in a different video. But this grand solar minimum is definitely something important. So, again, don't live your life in fear. Just be prepared. And please help support my channel. Links will be below if you would like to get some silver or just send me a donation. That would be great because this is a lot of work. I know people they think that whatever, I don't know what. There's a lot of people out there that just randomly talk about things that's complete BS. And I'm sure that's pretty easy. You just turn on the camera and start talking BS. But when you spend hundreds of hours doing research to put information out for people, I mean, look how much you pay for cable and Netflix and all of these other things that do you really need? I don't even turn on my TV because it's just become such a nuisance to your brain. Anyway guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that, and I'm going to be doing a lot more about some underground stuff, and it's going to be fun. If y'all have any, I mean, don't put any crazy rude comments. This is, it's an open conversation. Crowdsource research. So put what you think. Don't put your crazy blah 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 blah. Like, it's, sometimes there's more to what I know than what I actually say. I probably shouldn't have said that. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. Bye guys.